What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing here tonight, Matt? What's going on, man? It's been a little bit.
Yeah, first off, I want to say, I know we're early, but happy Father's Day. A while.
My wife was talking about that today, and I was like, "What? When is Father's Day?" She goes, "It's this weekend." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I did not realize." So yes, happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, and thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. How have
Yeah.
you been?
Good. We've both been a little busy. I mean, you were out enjoying vacation, which was nice to see, and I was up to my normal shenanigans. So,
I was on vacation. I still could not stay up late enough to finish that $1 million hustle there. That was a late one. That was a late one. That's what we were talking about before. But I did get to see some of it. We were sitting out by the campfire and had it pulled up on my phone, so I was watching a little bit of that. But man, let's just get started with a million reasons to win, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, largest dirt late model payout in the history of dirt late model racing. 1 million, was it 1,002,022 ended up being the winner's purse.
Yeah, that's what
101 lap feature. That's yeah, I'll take it.
That's what he posted. I think that it was like 1,002,000 or 200, however many
Yeah,
reasons to stay up till 3:30 racing. It was like, yeah,
yeah.
that is a good reason there. We had a former guest in Chris Ferguson. He actually went out and won that first heat. Did you see that?
I did. I managed to make it through the heat races. It was some good racing. And actually, the move that he made on his pass to win was actually pretty legit in lap traffic. Pull a little slider, use a lap car as a pick. So congratulations, Fergie, on that heat win. And actually, I'm pretty sure it paid pretty well through the field too. So
Very
I'm pretty
nice.
sure. I think he made a little bit of money that night too.
I would hope so. I would hope so. Sorry, I'm getting my boundaries back here. I have been gone for a bit, and I really haven't spent much time in here. Everything's kind of it's like all new to me here. But we got a lot of interesting things, like I said, to talk about outside of the heats. Was there anybody that you thought kind of surprised you? They're going for a million. I think people race a little different when you're going for a million instead of 2,000.
Yeah, I mean, not really surprised on who went for the million, especially well, congratulations to Jonathan Davenport for the win. Um, I was more shocked on who didn't compete for the million. Brandon Overton, last year's big winner for the Dirt Dream Race, won both races, pocketed $273,000. Didn't even qualify for a B main. Scott Bloomquist, everybody knows who Scott Bloomquist is, one of the most badass dirt racers out there. Running well, blew a tire, and that was it. So I was more shocked on who wasn't in contention to win or to compete for the $1 million than I was on who was actually out there running.
And Bloomquist, I mean, everybody knows him. He's that kind of that legend, if you will, in his own. But you've got, uh, he's out there and he hasn't been performing fantastic recently. I mean, he's not been on top of his game. Obviously, not in the prime, but he comes out there. He was looking sharp. But again, you put a million reasons to win out there, and guys are going to drive a little bit different. So
Yeah.
he was doing really well out there. I think kind of putting that pain aside. I don't know if he has any more pain in the. I believe it was the hip. I don't know how much pain that's really giving him, but really tossed all that out. Excuse me, tossed all that out and ended up doing pretty darn well outside of, like you said, just that unfortunate luck. But man, that was I can't get over how late that was. I mean, do you think they knew it was going to go that late? What was going on with that? I wasn't paying attention too much there.
Well, I think what didn't help them any was they had the rain out from the night before, so they
Okay,
pushed. So they had basically a double show on the night of the Eldora Million. So they had to finish a B main and then run the preliminary A main because that paid like I think 15,000 or so to win. And kudos to Tony Stewart and his staff at Eldora Speedway because you're talking $1 million on in one race and 15-20 million for another race for them to be able
thousand,
to
not million,
yeah,
not
sorry,
15,
yeah,
20 million.
yeah, sorry,
You want a
thousand,
heck of a
yeah,
pay.
but that's unreal for a payout for dirt racing. So kudos to Tony and his crew at Eldora Speedway for getting the sponsorship or forking out the money for that. But that's what made it a late night, though. You had essentially 2 features, 2 B mains, and lots of heat racing.
Lots of racing there on Flow for everybody to enjoy, no doubt about that. Moving into is this the first like official speed weeks that we got going on now? I love this time of the summer when everybody clicks into speed week action, whether it be the sprints or the midgets, whatever everybody's running out there. But I know I'm ready for Indiana Speed Weeks. I'm going to catch at least one, hopefully a couple of those. But they're in Ohio right now. You said you were watching that, I believe.
I actually have that on right now. Ohio Speed Week started. This is race number 5 right now. There are 4 races in. And actually, we got Christopher Bell and Alex Bowman just picked up for the rest of the week to run out in Ohio. It's a grueling schedule. I mean, like some of these guys, so Danny Dietrich, one of our local guys here, he's going to run this entire week and then turn around and starting next week, the PA Speed Week starts. So you're talking, I think it's 19 races in 19 days for some of these guys, which is pretty impressive. But right now we're getting ready to, I guess, do the dash for tonight, and Alex Bowman starts 10th in that. So nice to see the NASCAR guys out off week and getting a little dirty tonight.
Absolutely. We talked about Bowman on the dirt, how he's really kind of coming into his own there as well as on the asphalt track. So always fun to watch Bowman out there swinging around. So good to see him out there and participating there. PA Speed Week, though, you got a lot of action coming your way because that's always a fun one. That's always one that people are going to tune into because you got the posse versus the rest of the world coming at you. So that's always a good one to watch. Are you going to catch any of those?
Actually, I scheduled my vacation to be off for the entire Speed Week for the first time ever.
Nice.
So as of right now, the schedule, I could hit all of them if I really wanted to. The big thing for us is going to be weather and money.
What's the farthest track that you have on the PA Speed Week? A couple hours?
No, well, Grandview is probably about an hour, 20 minutes. It's heading towards Philadelphia. And then we got Hagerstown, and everybody complains about Hagerstown because it's in Maryland, but it's been on the schedule from day one. So, but they run Williams Grove twice, Lincoln twice, Port Royal twice, which Port Royal just came out on iRacing. So there's a plug for you guys. Sealands Grove, and then Baps Motor Speedway, which used to be known as Susquehanna Speedway, is the other tracks. So it's all Central PA based tracks. And it's, 10 races in 10 days.
Nice. So it's not too bad to really get that working for you then. Excuse me. So I figured it was kind of spread out throughout the entire state.
No, that's what the biggest thing is. A lot of people complain about is in years past, we used to have it at Path Valley Speedway, which is heading out towards Pittsburgh, Bedford out towards Pittsburgh, Big Diamond. It used to be a wide variety of tracks, but what they're aiming for is rewarding the tracks that have weekly 410 racing.
Gotcha.
So
that makes sense. Absolutely. So
it just so happens that Hagerstown's been on the schedule from day one. That's why it still gets a date. And BAPS doesn't run 410s on a weekly basis. Unfortunately for them this year, every 410 race that they've tried to have has rained out. So they're over for the year.
Right. That's no fun. That's no fun at all. You gotta love the weather. But we should be picking it up now. We should be on a roll. I know it's a heater here today. I think we're getting to that dry time of the year, so hopefully we'll be able to see a lot of racing coming up here, have a lot of fun when it comes to that, and really see what these guys have to offer. So that'll be a fun one for you, no doubt. Having a week of race action, having a week of kind of just enjoying the dirt there. So definitely enjoy yourself on that one.
Yeah, I mean, if you do a show the Tuesday that they run Grandview, I should be at Grandview. Maybe I can tune in a little bit and give you some live video or an update on what's going on, or something along those lines.
There you go. So, looking forward to some Speed Week action. Like we said, Ohio kicking it off. What did you say? Race 5 tonight? 4 tonight?
Yeah, race number 5 tonight. There are 4 races in.
So definitely a fun one to watch there. PA next week starting in. Is that right? Is it
Yep.
Monday?
Nope. It starts Friday the 24th,
Okay.
and then it goes all the way to July 3rd.
Okay, so well, like you said, a load of action there, guys. Definitely tune in and see what these guys are going to bring to the table. It's obviously, like I said, always fun to watch PA Speed Week. I think that's kind of the top tier of Speed Weeks. Would you agree there? I mean, you may be a little biased being out there, but like I said, you got the posse and everybody coming in trying to take down the posse and show them, that they're the better regardless of where they're from.
When it comes to pay, PA Speed Week's the best, but when it comes to variety, Ohio's got us beat by a mile. I mean, you're talking like right now they're running Sharon Speedway. Last night they ran Fremont. I mean, they're pretty much running at a different track every single night. So
Indiana Speed Week, we don't repeat. I don't believe.
yeah,
We got one in Indy. We got Bloomington, Kokomo, Lawrenceburg, Brownstown. I'm trying to think if there's another one.
maybe Portsmouth
Terre Haute, and yeah, Port City or Port, yeah,
Port City or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so we got 7 that they're banging it to. So
that's on my bucket list is Indiana Speed Week. That would be.
Dad and
awesome.
I took my daughter to Lawrenceburg. It was 2, maybe 3 years ago, and she's not a dirt fan. She loves IndyCar, but we sat in the turns, and that was my mistake because that was my first dirt race as well, and we were just getting showered with debris and obviously the dirt and everything coming off. So I don't know if maybe that turned her off, but definitely. Have to give her another try out there because she's a race fan, so I could definitely see her enjoying dirt, but maybe from the front stretch here.
Maybe. But you know what though? That's actually a nice segue because we didn't really get to talk about because we've been away. Indy 500, buddy. You got to enjoy the Indy 500. You got to take your daughter to the Indy 500.
There's a video I posted. It was on my personal page, but just to see her reaction, I was more excited, and I love the 3 wide start. I love watching them come into turn 1 because that's where we sit. But this was like the first time I was more focused on somebody rather than the cars in front of me. Excuse me. When it got started, I got the camera out and I recorded her reaction to seeing those cars at full speed right there from our seat for the first time. And she's sitting on Dad and I like this, standing on the bleachers behind us. And she just rears back and her eyes get huge. It's like, oh my gosh. And then she finds the car she's like cheering for that day. And you can see her eyes go like this as she tries to like follow it. It's just like, whoa, that didn't work. And I told her, like, you got to follow it from my turn and then go like this if you want to see that thing. Because if not, you're going to miss it. You're going to be doing this the entire time, and that's not going to be too comfortable for you there. But she had an absolute blast. Definitely an Indy 500 fan for life. I think she's an IndyCar fan too, because she goes to the road courses with me, and they're ready for that doubleheader. Probably won't stick around for NASCAR. Not gonna lie, the next day, but Saturday, IndyCar goes out there and does one more on the road course here in Indy. So that should be a good one. That's at the end of June here.
Can I just say though, you know how close I was to be able to like come on here and brag to you that my pick of Tony Kanaan won the freaking Indy 500.
That was close. He did good. Pelot had a solid run. I think really anybody in that Ganassi team could have taken it. Dixon, unfortunately, shooting himself in the foot there going into the pits just a little too fast. And Ericsson, obviously, with that Ganassi. A solid win, though. Let's talk about that. I mean, obviously, everybody knows Ericsson, the winner of the 500. It's been a couple weeks since. But what do you think? Because I think that turns the eyes of that European crowd, that F1 crowd, and they're looking at IndyCar now. They're saying, okay, I wonder what maybe this is, something to gander on, something to gaze upon here as they see Marcus Ericsson, a driver that really wasn't hailed too high in F1. Obviously, never was in a top ride. He was in that secondary Ferrari seat for a while with Alfa Romeo, but it's the allure of the 500, I think, is really there now. I think Ericsson kind of opened up the door. I saw a lot of negative comments on different IndyCar pages and stuff like that, talking about how Ericsson really wasn't the winner that we needed to push IndyCar. But in my opinion, I think it's the exact opposite. Outside of Jimmy Johnson, really, Roman Grosjean and Ericsson, I think, are your solid number 2 and 3 to have taken that win because, like I said, I think it opened up a door to a whole new factory, a whole new set of eyes there for the IndyCar league there, the series.
Yeah. Well, so you and I talked about it on the show. You know, we thought Ericsson had a chance, but neither one of us thought that he was actually going to pull the win off because, I mean, you're talking his experience or whatever.
Right.
I think what's going to really help him now, not only with him winning that Indy 500 and what's getting the momentum going over in Europe of everybody wanting to watch, is he's now the points leader. If I'm not mistaken, after Detroit and Road America, I'm pretty sure he's the points leader for
after
IndyCar.
Road America. Yes, he did take it. He took it back over. So the Indy 500 is a double points race.
Right.
So
right.
that you win that race, and typically you do kind of jump up to the top. But after which I can't remember where he finished in Detroit. I know it wasn't his best finish because he has won there, obviously. But taking that second place. And did you see how he took that second place?
Yeah, I mean that's
a
move
on
dude.
Rossi right there.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we both sat, you and I both sat here. We've had this debate about, you know, we think Palou is probably the best and all this stuff, but like Ericsson's starting to sneak in here.
He really is. Yeah, I completely agree. I think Ganassi is showing it's not the Dixon era anymore. Dixon kind of maybe, I'm not going to say getting the shaft over there at Ganassi, but not getting the attention he has always gotten. Obviously, now that you have Palou, a champion in Palou, now that you have a points leader in Ericsson, and also you talk about those two. I don't know if you watched the entire race. Those two had a little come to Jesus with each other here, as Ericsson on that downhill left hand went to take it away, and he in my opinion, Ericsson's there. He makes the move. Is it a move you necessarily want to make on your teammate that early in a race? That's debatable. But he's there. The move is there. He's good. And Palou just they make a little bit of contact, and really unfortunate for Palou there. Like they were saying on the broadcast, it didn't seem like it was that bad of a contact.
No. But I mean, so my opinion of that is though, like that move right there might have been the reason why he's the points leader right now.
I think it's on Rossi, but I know what you're saying there. Like that type of behavior, that type of mindset is what's going to make him that champion this year. And I think I know I hate saying this week in, week out and changing this up, but I think you definitely got to watch Ericsson here the rest of the season. If he can have a few more good races and then just line those up with some consistent finishes, he's going to be the champion this year. I think it's no doubt, because you're not going to see such a solid lineup or with such a solid lineup like you do in IndyCar, such a competitive field. You're not going to see guys stack up 4 or 5 wins in a season. It's going to be real hard. You've got Newgarden with 3 right now, but that's going to be tough to really keep on going. And you even see, like we said, obviously, Ericsson with the series points right now, and Newgarden's got 3 wins. He's got 3 wins, and he's still not the points leader. So that goes to show you, I think, if Ericsson can line out some consistency, and then sneak another couple podiums, if not another win in there, man, it's going to be tough to compete with.
So, I mean, we're sitting here talking about Ericsson and Newgarden and all that stuff, but you know who else? Like, I'm keeping my eye on right now, because this is prime time for him. Will Power secretly sitting second in points, right?
Yeah, I mean, after that Belle Isle win there, a solid win for Power. Really seems to kick it on when it's time for him, when he needs to. He's been a solid force in the IndyCar series since he really stepped in. So definitely one to watch. We'll bounce around here and we'll keep saying stuff with contenders, but let's talk about. I'm wearing the hat right now. The McLaren. McLaren announces a 3rd driver next year, Alexander Rossi, and since you can look back and you know that contract was probably signed before the 500, and you look and Kirkwood going into Andretti, Rossi heading out. It seems like something clicked in that 2017 with Rossi. Now, I don't know if it's the mentality of we got nothing to lose. I've got nothing to lose here, so let's throw stuff at the car that we might not think is going to work, and it ends up sticking. It ends up working, and really, he's had some solid cars here the past couple of weeks, stuff he hasn't had in years, if you really look at it, a couple of years, and he's coming off some major finishes right now. So don't count Alexander Rossi, out just yet. I'm saying just yet. I think as it goes down the line, obviously you want to have some strong momentum going into that new team. But the only thing is, if he has 1 to 2 bad races where he slips off of that streak, his head's going to be in McLaren then. He's out of Andretti. He's got a foot out the door, and I think that's the season for him. But if he keeps up this right now, then I think you look for Rossi to be chipping away at that title before the end of the year.
I know, we talk about some of this stuff off the show, which people might be surprised about that we actually have some of these discussions. But I want your opinion on this because we kind of talked about it. You told me Ericsson's not going to go back to F1 and all this stuff. Do you think though, Rossi going to F1? Sorry, Rossi joining McLaren now. Do you think McLaren might be a legit threat week in and week out to go against Ganassi?
I think if you look at Pato O'Ward and Alexander Rossi, which those are the 2 guaranteed. I don't think Rosenqvist is guaranteed for next year. But even add him into that equation right now because he's on fire right now as well. He's having some solid finishes himself. So you say Rossi, Rosenqvist, and Pato, and I think that gives Rosenqvist and Pato kind of the experience that they need to kind of help them push them to the next level there. Pato's there. I think he's solid. But if he had that older mentor maybe to kind of help him out, because I think everybody really enjoyed Juan Pablo Montoya in that team with him for the 500 there, the month of May, I should say. So I think looking at that and how everybody kind of gelled with the veteran in the team, I think that's going to be one hell of a fantastic team and yeah, I'd be nervous if I was everybody else. I think another thing that is going to be interesting, I think Rossi, ever since, 2016, he won the 500. So ever since 2017, I think Rossi's been chipping away, dying to get in some Chevy equipment, and he's there. Now it's going to be powered by Chevy. He's switching manufacturers. So, man, I think that team's going to definitely be one heck of a team to handle. We talk about that, though. I don't think Rossi wants to go back to F1. I don't think we see Rossi in that seat, but I do think Pato is going to take a couple practice sessions. I think also Rossi's current teammate in Colton Herta, because you got to remember that he's signed to a F1 McLaren deal at the moment as a reserve or as a academy. I don't know exactly what they classify him, but he's sitting in with that McLaren team as they're ready to put him in that F1 seat. So you wonder, is Colton Herta maybe looking at that? And there's rumors, and I say rumors here, that McLaren's looking to fill a 4th seat. So I have heard, and again, rumors, nothing but rumors. I read a lot on the internet, but I'll throw it out there. I have heard that they are trying to snipe a Ganassi driver in Palou or Dixon for their 4th person. And I don't know if I'm Palou, if that sounds like a good idea for me, because number one, I've had a solid car here. I'm doing fantastic, really gelling with my mentor in Franchitti. And man, it looks like you're sitting pretty for the next few years if you stay there. Whereas Dixon, he's not getting that look anymore. He's not kind of the top dog, if you will. Maybe we see him make a switch, but that's so unlikely in my mind, just because you see Dixon really seems like him and Ganassi are very close. Him and Ganassi really, it's kind of like Johnson with Hendrick. You wouldn't expect him to have left Hendrick and went and raced for Roush. And you know what I'm saying there? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
So just so I did a quick Google search just to look and see, like I said, IndyCar drivers for 2023. And here was a post somebody said about Tony Kanaan indicated that people will fall off their chairs when Arrow McLaren announces their third driver for the 2023 IndyCar season. So this person predicted who they think is going to be on each team, and this guy actually has Pato Award, Rossi, Juan Pablo again for Indy, and then Scott Dixon as their
So
third
there you
driver.
go. So, but where's that put Rosenquist? If he's out of the deal with McLaren, is Rosenquist a Dale Coyne driver? Is he a Ed Carpenter possibly? I mean, where does that sit? Does it show Rosenquist in that equation?
Yeah, so he actually doesn't even have Rosenquist as being in IndyCar anymore.
I do find that unlikely. Just because he's having some success, he's. You look at the lineup, and I think Rosenquist is probably better than at least half of the drivers. I mean, some of the rookies, some of the older guys out there. I mean, I could possibly see Meyer Shank giving Rosenquist a ride if that was an option.
So here's what he has, because he said about Scott Dixon has lured away from Chip Ganassi, the team he had driven for since 2002, to replace Rosenquist. Rosenquist will move to McLaren's Formula E team in 2023.
Yeah, I
So he's
guess I
staying.
could see.
So he's staying with McLaren. He's just moving to a different series.
That would be interesting. Like I said, I think he really enjoys IndyCar. I think he's been fantastic for what he's had. He's got a win under his belt. So I don't want to see Rosenquist out of the series. But like, is this David Land that's saying this?
No, this is just some future fandom page
Okay, well, I'm
that
just
I
making
found.
sure,
Yeah.
because so that's two people now that are talking Dixon into the Arrow McLaren. So it would be interesting to see. That would be a huge, and I mean a huge shakeup, and that's a bad thing because Rosenquist came from Ganassi, so that leaves that seat open. And I wonder that at that point, does it say who would fill in at the 9 seat?
Yeah, it actually does. And you'd be shocked at the name that they put in here.
Is it hold on,
Renus. It's Renus.
Okay, I can see that. Because that I heard that Renus is looking for a ride. He's not necessarily signed that ride with Carpenter. Now I'm gonna see that's where I would put Rosenquist then with Carpenter and Renus VK seat. But now I gotta ask you, who's in the 21 in this scenario?
Well, so that's the thing. For who they have in the 21, they also have somebody now in the 22 car not running every single race. So in the 21 full time, they have Callum Ilott.
Okay.
And in the 22 is a rookie, that Felipe Drugovic.
So this is interesting. That would be a pretty wicked lineup there. So we'll have to see how that all works out there. Because man, that would shock the world for Dixon to leave.
Even just going through some of these other ones, like you'd be shocked at some of the stuff that he has on here. So he has like Linus Lundqvist going full time in the 14.
I could see that 100%. I'm with that.
Kyle Kirkwood in the 27 full time.
That's confirmed.
Which I think that's great for him in general. Let's see here. David Malukas, Takuma Sato teamed up again.
Yep.
Santino and Sage Karam
for
only the Indy,
Bold. Right.
only for the Indy 500.
Yep.
And then that leaves the Juncos Hollinger Racing Team, Stingray Rob.
Oh,
take
wow,
over
okay.
that ride.
So
take over
Stingray, I can see that. Okay.
So
very interesting. Ayrton saying he'd be excited to see Drukovic for sure. I think Lundqvist is a great option to be making it in that step, but man, I just don't want to see Rosenquist out yet. I hope that doesn't happen for the most part. But I would love, and I mean love, excuse me, to see Dixon with another team. What a curveball in IndyCar. That would be like, I don't know if it's as big, but that would be like Dale Earnhardt not driving the 3. That would be like Jeff Gordon not driving the 24. It's
Oh,
gonna be weird
I guarantee you though,
if
if
he's not
Dixon
there.
if Dixon goes to McLaren, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my futures bet in. That's your top 3 in points.
That would be that would be one heck of a if they could gel together. If they could gel together, that's a big thing. I don't know a lot of times you see Rossi kind of hanging out with the younger crowd. I don't know how much him and Dixon necessarily if they get along at all. I don't know if Dixon really wants to be with a younger Pato Award because that's a lot of competition in one team, let alone on the track.
Yeah.
So,
but to your thing though, but hold on to your thing though, whether or not they hang out or with each other like that or not, if Scott Dixon is telling you to do something, you're going to listen because the guy's a proven winner in this series.
I'm with you.
So he's only going to make them better. He's going to make them better no matter. No, it doesn't matter. Oh, we're buddy off the track or not. Like, you know what? Here's what I think you're doing wrong. This will make you a better driver.
But if he doesn't like you and he's not telling you those things and he's keeping everything to himself and not talking, then you could have a problem there. So, but he comes from that Ganassi family. I'm already getting jazzed for the silly season, if you will, now. So, that'll be an interesting one, no doubt. So, Viva la Mexico! You know what I'm saying there.
Suarez, baby.
I saw now was it whoever made this post? I think it was NBC. They need to back themselves up because they showed Suarez, dumping the wine on him, and it says Indy's got milk, Sonoma's got wine. It's like you just chill out. That's nothing like the tradition here. You just relax there. But congrats to Suarez. I know you're watching out there, Daniel Suarez. Congrats to you, sir, on taking the win and being I think it's only the 5th international driver to win in NASCAR. I'm going to try to name them right now. Mario Andretti.
Yep.
You've got, oh my goodness. Yeah, I had these a lot better here. Mario, Juan Pablo. You've got, obviously, Suarez, Ambrose. Oh, who's the 5th? Help me out. Who's the 5th?
Earl Ross.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have got that. I wouldn't have gotten that. Where's he from? Great Britain or something?
Canada.
Canada. That's where F1 is this week.
Do you know where his only win came at, though? That's the question.
Was it Canada?
It was not.
I thought you were going to say, like, Gilles Villeneuve or something.
No, it was Martinsville.
Very nice, very nice. So, yeah, that's... I do know Juan Pablo's was at was it Sonoma? It was
Juan Pablo's got 2.
Does he have? Oh, are they both road courses?
They are.
Did he win Watkins Glen?
And Sonoma.
Okay. Very good. Congrats, Juan.
Infineon.
That's why I hate that. It'll be that here soon. They keep doing the switch with that. So yeah. No, that's solid there. That's good. Ambrose, he actually won.
Watkins Glen twice.
Okay, I thought he had an oval win there as well, but yeah.
Close. No, he came close. And you figure Juan Pablo almost won the Brickyard.
Oh, dude, he got so close that year. And then he pulled a Scott Dixon into the pits, I think. He got a penalty in the pits and had to get shuffled to the back there because we were all sitting there because that's when I used to go to the Brickyard every year. And we're sitting there like, oh, my gosh, this is going to remind me of 2001 Indy. He just got out in the front and he led the entire he about lapped 3rd place. It was like, come on, man. This is the Juan Pablo show. I'm sick of it. But then he ends up, like I said, getting shuffled to the back or something happened there. So, whew.
Well, I kind of want to – so I'm going to try and cover 3 here in 1 because I'm with you. Congrats to Suarez. That was awesome to see him finally get that first win. That man, it's hard. It is hard to hate him.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Coke 600, from what I was able to watch of that because I was at a concert, awesome race. Denny Hamlin won that race. Awesome race. Tough break for Buescher with that flip. But Gateway. Now, I wanted to bring this up just because I was listening to the Dale Jr. download, which I'm sure Dale's probably tuning in at some point to our show. And
Absolutely.
Great interview with Jeremy Mayfield. So if anybody wants to listen to that, you learn a lot about what happened to Mayfield. They talked about the whole Ross Chastain versus everybody.
Nice.
and they said, and this brings up a good point. I don't know if you know what happened next. I know you were kind of away on vacation. Chastain got into it with Hamlin got into it with Elliott. Hamlin's threatening payback. Chastain's like, oh, I drove like an idiot. I suck at driving.
I
Blah blah
did
blah
hear
blah blah.
Chastain say, "Yeah, dude, that was my
Yeah.
bad. I overdrove the heck out of that one."
If you take that out of what happened in that race, what a boring freaking race.
I
'Cause,
like that track too. So that's the thing I think we've seen with the next gen is it kind of has made tracks that were good racing before into maybe a little more of a boring race, and the opposite there because we saw Martinsville and that wasn't nearly, I don't think, as entertaining as some of the Martinsville races we've had in the past.
No, it wasn't. And then you get to me, like, I thought Sonoma was actually a really good race. I watched that race from start to finish, and I thought Sonoma in general was a phenomenal race. And I don't know if it's because of the storylines of, like, we have Chastain against everybody, because every time he's around Hamlin, the camera's cut to him, or just how the race played out. Because, I mean, Suarez winning, Buescher second, Michael McDowell third. The guys that you normally don't see up front winning this thing like that. Yeah,
McDowell's he's a proven road course guy himself. Though.
Absolutely.
He's one of those guys that
Absolutely.
you can't count out when it comes to any road course you're at. He's going to be up there doing a solid job. But he was on track to be an IndyCar driver back in the day. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, so he used to race in the lower series of IndyCar, the Indy Lights and stuff.
Yeah.
So he came up through there, and then he couldn't find a ride in an IndyCar, and that's when he made the switch to stock car there. So a little tidbit there, but that's where he gets a lot of that road course experience and knowledge from.
And he's a very, very humble guy. Like when you listen to his interviews, it's just like, oh, I'm just glad I was able to finish the race, or
Absolutely,
I'm just
yeah.
glad to be out there. Like,
It's like when he won the 500, yeah, he was one of the coolest 500 winners. Obviously, he didn't expect to win that, even though he himself is a fantastic super speedway guy. But I think he was taken by surprise, and at the end of the day, he was very humble for being a Daytona 500 champion.
And I'll say what really made me like him and made him more of a humble guy was the COVID year when they ran the All-Star race at Bristol, and Bubba Wallace took his front bumper down to McDowell's trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and then he auctioned it off for charity. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, he didn't even say anything. There was nothing mean out of him. He was just like, oh, yep, okay, we're gonna auction this off to charity.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, very, very cool guy. It seems like it really gives back to the fans too. So, trying to think, is there F1? We're seeing the switch from Ferrari power dominance to back to Red Bull.
Hey, I got a fun fact for you regarding F1.
Let's hear it.
Did you know that Max Verstappen has won more races with Leclerc starting on the pole than Leclerc has won from starting on the pole?
such an unfortunate thing for Leclerc. It's like, man, you got the talent. This is one of those times that we've really seen a driver that has the talent and they're that close. Because I think he's honestly making that Ferrari look a little better than what that Ferrari really is. Because you look at what Sainz is doing and producing with that. Sainz, a solid driver. We've seen him really produce last year and outperform Leclerc. But now with this car, this new design and everything, I think Leclerc, and I mean, don't quote me on this, maybe I'm wrong, they could have built the car around Leclerc more so. But I think that he's making that car look a little better than what it really is. And they need to just adjust it, just make that small little dial, just dial it back in. And they need to keep that reliability. At this point, it's starting to look like F1 back in the early 2000s. Every week you're seeing a failure. You're seeing that giving up the ghost is what Taylor would like to say, where they all of a sudden they're just going in that magic sauce, that magic smoke right out the back, man. And it's like, oh no, it's a heartbreaker. And you look down the line, you had two Ferrari cars, you had a Haas ride, and you had an Alfa Romeo, I believe. Did Alfa Romeo end up having a DNF there too?
I'm pretty
I can't remember.
Baku.
Yeah, I can't remember honestly, but I know at least the Haas and the two Ferraris. But you look down the line, that's all Ferrari power. So that's something that at first I don't think people were worried about because they looked like they were solid. They looked like they had it. But when you look down the reliability, there's one team that doesn't have a DNF this year. Do you know who it is?
Mercedes.
It is. So you look, maybe not the best design. And I'll tell you, did you watch that race this weekend, or did you see the
Yeah,
highlights, anything?
I watched a little bit of it, but I went back and watched the highlights of it.
I know people don't like Lewis. I know people, you say what you will about him. I think he's a solid driver. But you could tell how much pain that man was in when he got out of his car at the end of that day. So
Absolutely.
that porpoising is really working with him. Gasly saying the same thing. It's like, man, it's pounding our spine. And when he got out, it kind of reminded me of Buddy Lazier back in 1996 when he won the 500. He couldn't even stand up out of the car because he had a broken back from a wreck before. But it's an interesting thing to see. But you still look, and Mercedes, I think if they need to make a little drastic, more of a change, more of a slide job on the knob more than just a small dial. But I think, if they can keep that reliability up and not have to make these changes and stuff like that, number one, that's going to help them in the long run with their penalties, whether it be, exchanging engines, stuff like that. Number two, the big thing, it's going to help them when it comes to that salary cap, being able to stay under the money. Because Red Bull, I think right now is a little worried that they might have to miss a race. So if you have to miss a race, that's going to really allow George and Charles, whoever it be at the end of the season, to really make that up and make some time. So you better start dominating quick, and they're doing a good job about it. But I think it's going to be interesting to see the rest of the season if Ferrari can get this reliability issue kind of fixed, because it's really been killing them lately between that and the terrible, and I mean absolutely terrible strategy calls.
So can we talk about the two elephants in the room regarding this last race, though? The first one I want to talk about, since we're on the talk of Mercedes, is how about George Russell, though, just straight up outperforming Lewis Hamilton? Like, he's not even just on strategy; he's just out driving him,
Right.
in every session. And it seems like every session, it's Russell's just leading Mercedes' way.
I think when it comes to that, and I'm not making excuses here. I'm not a huge Lewis fanboy, but I do think you gave Lewis a lot less of a car this year than what you did, what he's been used to, in all honesty. And then you've got Russell, that scared me half to death. You got Russell sitting in a car that is a lot better than what he is used to in the past. So when you look at that and you go down the line, you see that, you start to wonder, is Russell outperforming him because he's used to driving in a bad car and this is a better car? And then you look at the opposite, is Lewis not performing like Russell because he's sitting in a car that this is the worst car he's had, it's probably since the McLaren days, in all honesty.
Probably. I mean, I'm not saying this because I don't like Lewis. I mean, I respect Lewis as a champion and all that stuff, but I'm really starting to think that, like, Russell is that good of a driver, though. I mean, we had this discussion at the beginning of the year, and even where I said about, look at Bottas. Bottas is going to make that Alfa Romeo better than what it really is, and he really has. He's sitting 8th in points. I think Russell's showing that he is a lot better driver than what people are making him out to be, because it's not like he's just going out there and being super dominant. He's being so consistent. He's the most consistent driver right now in F1.
And I think when it comes to consistency, though, you also have to look down the line and say he's got one of the most. He's got the most reliable ride. So you don't have to worry about that bad boy blowing up. I think there was one race that he was following somebody and he was having a little overheating issues. Outside of that, though, he's been pretty solid when it comes to reliability, not having to really slow up like the others, not having to worry about that motor really giving up the ghost or anything. So, it's kind of an interesting aspect to look at there. But I'm not going to take it away from him, because I think just like, Lewis earned that seat at Mercedes. I think he has earned that seat there, and he's proving it as well. So it'll be interesting, though. Does Mercedes at this point take a look at next year's car, the year after that's car, and do you start building it around George Russell, or do you still keep a couple years here and try to give Lewis the record and see if you can't get him to the top one more time before he exits F1?
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to say that, like, the cars are even still for them and that George is just outperforming them. But maybe you might be right. They might be looking forward to just next year and chalking this up as hey, this is just a learning thing. We'll do better next year type deal. I don't know.
I think the cars are even for those two. I don't think that's an issue, but what I do think is maybe where they thought they were going to hit the mark this year, they just missed it there. And now you're looking forward, like I said, do you kind of look at Hamilton and say, what do you want in this car? What do you need in this car? Or do you look over at George and say, hey, we're kind of looking at you now. Let's go towards your driving style more so than Lewis's. So that's going to be an interesting thing to really look at here in the future for Mercedes.
My other elephant that I want to bring up, what is up with this whole Checo and Max Verstappen no fight for any of these races that they all of a sudden now
multi 21
yeah, all of a sudden now these two aren't even allowed to race each other.
Yeah, and I think that's something with Red Bull you've seen constantly throughout the years is they don't want their guys going at it. They'll make fun of the team for doing that, and then when it works in their benefit, they're going to say, "Hey, this is strategy. This is what we need to do." But I think that was a little more of a call that, hey, this is gonna happen regardless. So let's get it on our terms, whether they have these guys fight and then somebody catch up to them or those guys both take each other out at a track like Baku. So I think in that one, you're not going to battle as bad there, but maybe, I don't know, code it up on the radio a little different. Just don't say, like, hey, let's not race each other. But you look at that, though, and you look down at McLaren, where at one point of the race, you've got Daniel Ricciardo following Norris, and he says, hey, if Norris can't go any faster, can I get around him? Because I've got more in my car. And they told him, no, stay there. This is the strategy. He said, okay. And at the end of the race, when Norris wanted to go around Ricciardo, they said, no, man. And that's the reason why, because, hey, he wanted to go around you earlier. You couldn't get, or you weren't holding yours. And we told him to hold back. At this point, you just hold back there. So I think they're at least playing it a little more fair between the drivers, but you're still seeing it at multiple teams there.
And I understand that whole concept there. The problem that I have is now I love Max. I'm so glad that he won the championship last year. I'm so glad he's leading the championship this year. But they're keeping Sergio Perez from being fast or being a multiple, like winning as much as he should be. So far I think Checo's been a better driver than Max.
I think come the end of the season, it's going to be a competition between those two for the title. But at this point, you want to get there. You want to get to the end. You want to make it there to where you can fight it out. But it'll be interesting. I think Checo, he's playing it smart right now. He's playing the team game and hoping, hey, maybe this will come back around in my favor here come the end. But it's been an interesting watch so far.
I mean, I don't know. I just wish that they would let Checo go out, do his thing. Like, okay, don't wreck each other. Be smart when you're racing each other, but also instead of saying multi 21, just put up a little bit of a fight. That way, it doesn't look so obvious that hey, we want Max to just go ahead and pass you, win this race. I get it, team orders, but come on, that was terrible.
Oh, I'm with you 100%. I mean, obviously you want to see racing and stuff like that, but yeah, I think. At the end of the day, it's always been an F1 game like that where it comes to things. But Sergio doing a good job just sitting back, playing that second fiddle. And I think he may surprise people. He may take the title this year. It's going to be an interesting one because you see Max. I'm not going to say he's the Max of old, but you see him making
mistakes.
Yeah, he's making those little errors or maybe kind of putting himself in areas that he shouldn't, kind of like he did when he was younger. Not so much last year. Last year he was on it. I mean, he had a couple mistakes, but outside of that, I mean, he was almost flawless. So, I mean, really to see that. But I think with this car, you're seeing a lot of people make mistakes. You're seeing guys that typically – don't run it off too much, locking it up in the corner, stuff like that. They're making those mistakes as they get used to still what is a new car to them. So Like I said, I think we got a lot in store here between the Red Bulls, and all it's going to take is Sergio to not get a DNF and Max to end up in the wall or something here, and he's going to be on top of that title, and it's going to be interesting to see then what do you do, because if Sergio's on top of that list, then you've almost got a Rosberg Hamilton situation this year with the teams, and they're fighting it out for the title. So, again, I think that's going to be an interesting one to watch. I hope Ferrari really gets it in and gets Charles in there for a three-way battle. But unfortunately, it seems like he's falling back, and he's falling back hard here. It's like they're an airplane, and they're in stall mode right now.
I mean, I don't know. I'm with you though. I think Checo could probably be the champion at the end of the year, but can't be the champion if you have to keep letting your teammate pass you.
Right. No, yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you 100%. So
I mean, I can harp on that. I can harp on that all day and all night, and I know I understand what you're saying. It's still early, but come on.
I'm with you. The bad thing is, though, with those two, they're always on a different strategy. So it's not like they were both coming out of the pits right there and they could battle it out, really, because I think at that point Sergio had a lot older tires where Max was coming out on somewhat fresh. So it's hard to really stay in front there and not really screw your teammate at the end of the day because of the way that these cars are. It heats up those tires really bad, what we saw with Alonso falling so closely back. It was the second race, I think, this year. And you just wear out those tires so quick. So I can understand it to a certain extent. Now, if we're talking about this come race 15, 16, we got issues. We got issues, and F1 needs to step in and say, hey, let's give the fans something they want to see. Let's stop doing this stuff here. Let's run it out there, have some fun.
So before we end up wrapping this all up, I kind of want to give a quick shout out to a former guest of our show and a friend of the show, Jesse Love. Big news out of that camp. He got to go and be their test driver for that new Toyota, what is it, the G86?
Nice.
So congratulations, or GR86, sorry, the GR86 is a development car. And he's been their test driver for the last few months, and they just released it at the beginning of the month. So congratulations, Jesse. We're happy for you, and keep doing good things this year in ARCA, and we're rooting for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. He'll be moving on up. No doubt about that.
Sorry. I had to throw that in there. I mean, just because I just now remembered it.
Yeah. That's a cool little tidbit. No doubt. So anything else you want to add here tonight? I think another good one here.
It's nice to be back. I feel like we took a nice little vacation, both of us. Baseball took a vacation too the last 2 weeks, so I'll be backed around the bases on Sunday.
From the races to the bases, just like that. Sunday, 11 a.m. You gotta love it. So
we're gonna do a nice little Fowler's Day episode.
I have no idea what we're doing. Like I said, I didn't even know it was Father's Day, so this is all surprised me. This is fun. It's gonna be a good weekend. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe Kyle will come and make you breakfast in bed.
I don't want that. I don't want that. And I think on that note, that's where we say goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here to Checkers and Records. Matt, thanks again. It was a great one.
Yes, sir.
www.bwsports1.com. That again, www.bwsports1.com. Check us out. And you guys have a fantastic one. Until